Yo, what's good? Amateur Lore here, and today I wanted to take a look at some group of 5 teams that took over college football. Pretty simple, right? And by the way, these videos take a long time to make on my shitty laptop I stole from college, so a like and a sub would be appreciated. Cool? Alright, anyway, let's hop right into the video. Okay, so for this first entry, I had 2 teams in mind, either the 2017 UCF Knights or the 2010 Boise State Broncos. It was hard to decide which to include in my first video talking specifically about group of 5 teams that took over college football, so fuck it, I guess I'll put both in. Anyway, I'll start with UCF, and after we get done with that entry, Boise State will be up next, so don't trip. With that out the way, let's head down to Orlando and take a look at the 2017 national champs, according to Colley Matrix Sports Rating System, the UCF Knights. Okay, you know how we start these type of videos, so let's take a look at the coach and some of the key players on the team. Coming into the season not having many expectations, at least outside of the city of Orlando, Florida, as this UCF Knights squad the year before had went 6-7 and finished the season on a 3-game losing streak. I don't know what type of black magic Scott Frost, head coach of the UCF Knights, was using during the offseason, because the team he fielded in 2017 absolutely blew the 2016 team out of the water. Running the show for Scott Frost and the UCF Knights was quarterback Mackenzie Milton, who would put together an outstanding year, passing for over 4,000 yards with 37 touchdowns, and would also finish second on the team in rushing with 613 yards with 8 tuds. Just a straight up ridiculous stat line. Staying on topic of rushing yards, the team lead in rushing was running back Adrian Killens, who would rush for just short of 800 yards with 10 touchdowns. And finally, leading the receiving corps catching bombs from Mackenzie Milton was Traquan Smith, who would finish the season with just shy of 1,200 yards with 13 touchdowns. And also shout out to Gabe Davis. He was on this team and used to be one of my favorite player props when he was on the Bills. Shit used to smack like 65% of the time. I know, nobody cares about my player prop shenanigans. I'm sorry for boring you. Anyway, let's hop right into the 2017 season for the UCF Knights. To start the year, the UCF Knights would have a very weird start to the season, as they would have 3 games canceled due to hurricane season coming down particularly hard this year. The games that were canceled were matchups against Memphis, Georgia Tech, and Maine. The game against Memphis would be rescheduled, but games versus Georgia Tech and Maine would be canceled completely. Now that I sort of explained that, let's actually see how the UCF Knights' first 3 games of the season went. Their first couple of games were all pretty impressive wins against teams Florida International 61-17, Maryland 38-10, and Memphis 40-13, putting the UCF Knights records at 3-0 and moving them up in the rankings to the 25th spot. The Knights were building crazy momentum, and the college football world was starting to somewhat take notice of UCF and considering them as a possible group of 5 team to make some noise this year. With a little bit of expectations being placed on the UCF Knights football program, the pressure was on. They had a tough stretch of conference play coming up against Cincinnati, East Carolina, Navy, and SMU. Could the Knights survive and keep their American Conference / New Year's 6 bowl game hopes alive?
4 wide. Milton down the field and wide open, and that's busted coverage. Snelson's gonna score. Towards the end zone. Did he bring it in? Inbounds, yes.
Not okay, though.
Play action again. The pump fake looking deep. Breaking wide open is Traquan.
Richardson in the backfield. Richardson. No, it's Milton. Second down and 10. Circus hit. Short throw. It's picked off. That is Trey Neal to the 10. To the house. Trey Neal. First and goal at the 3. Taj McGowan in the backfield. And this is McGowan, and he is in.
Defensively. Perry in motion. Avey. Follow the fullback into the end zone. Touchdown.
Second base.
Killens into the backfield. Oh, he's got some space. Makes that one elusive move and screened in high school. Got all the way back to the 3. Avey's 4th pass of the game. Wide open Perry. The twist and grab. And Perry a burner. Malcolm Perry to the house. 24. Motion drags Brandon Jones. Anderson explodes. Touchdown.
First play from scrimmage for SMU. James Prochet springs free down the sideline into UCF territory and gone. Going quickly as they do. Milton to keep. Gets a block and into the end zone for a touchdown. Far below his 73% average. That one is intercepted. This could turn into 6. Up the middle, Killens finds a seam. Still on his feet. And Adrian Killens to the house.
UCF would win every single game during that stretch, with wins against Cincinnati 51-23, East Carolina 63-21, Navy 31-21, Austin Peay 73-33, and finally to end the stretch, a 31-24 win against the SMU Mustangs. Also, I'm extremely sorry for not showing any highlights of the UCF versus Austin Peay game. If you went to Austin Peay, drop a comment so I know you're here. And real quick, I have to mention, Mackenzie Milton was absolutely balling throughout this stretch, passing for over 1,600 yards with 15 total touchdowns. Crazy numbers, which makes me feel so bad he didn't get a fair shot to finish out his college career. I really think if he never got injured, UCF might have been able to go undefeated 2 straight years in a row. But y'all know how football be. It can be one of the most unfair sports in the world, no matter how much effort and love you give it. Back to the 2017 UCF Knights though. Now sitting at 9-0, ranked 18th in the country, the Knights had their eyes set on in-state rival USF, as they were the last remaining real competition on the Knights' regular season schedule. But before that, they would have to take down 2 of the conference's bottom feeders, 3-6 UConn and 5-5 Temple, which they would pretty easily, as against UConn, the Knights would win 49-24 in a game that they controlled from the kickoff, and against Temple, the Knights would blow them out 45-19. Now sitting at 10-0, the Knights' biggest game of the season was coming up, a matchup against in-state rival the 9-1 USF Bulls. This is random, but I just have to say, this rivalry game has to have my second favorite nickname besides the Holy War between BYU and Utah, that being the War on I-4. That nickname is just so tough to me. Anyway, this game would be one of the best of the 2010s, going down to the wire. Would UCF be able to win the war against USF and keep their perfect season / New Year's Six Bowl dreams alive?
Tyree McCants with space. And there goes Tyree McCants. Inside the 5 and in. What a touchdown. Very strong in the red zone. Milton with a little bit of magic for a touchdown. This up. Milton has a man. It is caught. I think that was a misidentification by the official. Milton with a late pitch to Killen. Corner blitz. Flowers to the end zone. What a catch. Flowers. End zone. Wilcox. Milton to the end zone. It is caught. Gabriel. Flowers has not been shy about using his feet to make it happen. Touchdown Bulls. And Milton has a man wide open downfield. Snelson. Big blitz from the Bulls. It's a screen against the blitz. The perfect play. Otis Anderson. Flowers has a man. It is caught. Darnell Solomon. Touchdown Bulls. And we are knotted up with 1:41 to go. Mike Hughes with a head of steam. And Mike Hughes, the kicker to beat. Do you believe it? Knights take the lead on a Hughes touchdown.
That matchup between UCF and USF was one of the best games I've ever seen. Both teams were all gas from the kickoff to the end of the game, but fortunately UCF would come out on top 49-42, partially due to Mackenzie Milton's magical performance where he would pass for over 373 passing yards with 4 touchdowns. And I know I already said this like 3 minutes ago, but watching Mackenzie ball out makes me so happy. Dude was really a beast, kind of reminding me of a way better version of the pervy mom website enthusiast Zach Wilson. If you got that joke, you're my dog. Welcome to Degenerate University. And also, I'm talking about the college version of Zach Wilson, not whatever dude was doing in the NFL nowadays. UCF fans, let me know if that's a decent comparison. If not, comment down below a better one. Back to the Knights. Now sitting at 11-0 and ranked 14th in the country, UCF was in an amazing position, but no cap, any thoughts of the playoffs were out the window. On the contrary though, an American Athletic Conference title as well as a New Year's Six Bowl at large bid was definitely within the Knights' reach. Only thing standing in their way was the 10-1 20th ranked Memphis Tigers, a team that only lost 1 game this year. And who did they lose to? The UCF Knights early in the season. So you know they were feeling like Melly. Memphis had murder on their mind.
They've been playing football since 1912. Here's Milton. Found a soft spot in the defense. It's Snelson again. Snelson. The Texas Rangers farm system. Here's Milton lofting one. It's Akins again. And it might as well be a home run. Here's Ferguson to throw. Got a man. It's Tony Pollard. Here's Mackenzie Milton. Got a man down the sideline. It's perfect. It's Traquan Smith. And it's another touchdown.
Just have to keep that in the back of your mind.
Here's Henderson. Good first step. Puts his footstep in the ground and then takes off for the touchdown. 44,000 people. Ferguson to throw. Down the field, wide open is Anthony Miller. Trying to beat 2 guys down the sideline.
Playing out here right in front of us. Turnovers in red zone.
We can get off the field on 3rd down. There's Milton right up the middle. Plenty of green. Tim Hart was ejected for targeting. That's played a role as well. Here's Mackenzie Milton on the run and throwing, and it's caught!
Second down and 6. On the ground, here's Pollard making people miss, staying in bounds. Tony Pollard. Out of the 15. Ferguson to throw. Good time. Man wide open for receivers top of your screen. Milton is going to pitch to Killers. Turns the corner. Ferguson, pressure. Throw. Intercepted. It's intercepted. That's your ball game. Trey Neal on the pick.
UCF would take home the American Athletic title as they would beat Memphis 62-55 in a game that took 2 overtimes to finish. And of course, McKenzie Milton would absolutely ball out as he would finish the game with just shy of 500 yards with 6 total touchdowns. Now sitting at 12-0, ranked 12th in the country, the UCF Knights had officially received an invitation from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and were set to face off against the 7th-ranked Auburn Tigers. This game was figuratively, and some would even say literally, the UCF Knights national championship game. And to give some context, we have to remember the Auburn Tigers beat 2 #1 teams this year, the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I can understand how UCF fans could pull off some insane mental gymnastics in their head to come to the conclusion that if they were to win this bowl game against Auburn and finish undefeated, that they should be national champions. Even though, I'm going to be honest, Auburn was insanely injured this game. But none of that would even matter if they couldn't beat the Tigers.
Under 10 minutes to go, first half. That was a botched play from the start of the ball's out. Scooped up by UCF with a block. Down the sideline, Trey Neal. Milton pressured, gets away. Milton gonna run inside the 10. Touchdown. On second down and long, Griffin rushing the passer. Stidham, touchdown.
The touchdown to pay it off and down the red zone.
They get the ball snapped quickly. Johnson, touchdown.
Benders.
18 yards, play fake. Screen with blockers. Anderson pushing, touchdown. Second and goal. A little fake reverse. Milton, almost like a basketball player. Touchdown!
Just keep your cool and take it one play at a time.
Stidham in the pocket, throws, it's intercepted, and it's going the other way. Burkett, touchdown! Now the clock winds. Good rush. Stidham under pressure, throws it, intercepted! I don't know if he was trying to throw it away or what.
University of Central Florida Knights would come out on top of the powerhouse SEC program Auburn Tigers 34-27 in a game that I remember watching live from the crib, bringing the Group of 5 school to 13-0 and giving them the chance to claim a national title. But best believe, since that one publication I mentioned at the start of this entry, Call-In Matrix Sports Rating System, had them ranked #1 at the end of the year, the UCF Knights would use that to their advantage and claim their first national title. Comment down below if you think UCF deserved a chance in the playoffs, and also let me know if you think this national title is legit. Alright, that's going to wrap up the UCF part of this video, so let's pack our bags and leave Orlando and head to the Midwest, more specifically Boise, Idaho, to take a look at the 2010 Boise State Broncos. There were a lot of good teams to choose from when it comes to this Boise State program. I could have chosen the year 2006 when they upset Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl and finished 13-0, or 2009 when they would finish the year 14-0 and defeat the 4th-ranked TCU Horned Frogs in the Fiesta Bowl as well. But I decided to go with their 2010 season because when I was a kid, I have a memory of walking through the mall with my folks. And y'all remember those film stores at the mall that has like a bunch of random movies with posters and comics and some hentai all the way in the back if you look hard enough? Not like I ever did though. Point is, there was a little sports section and I vividly remember my mom buying me 3 DVDs from that section. Greatest Super Bowl moments, a movie about the best college basketball head coaches, and finally a DVD that went through Boise State's entire 2010 season. I know, my parents were awesome. Oh yeah, and also I chose this 2010 squad because to me, the program had been building momentum up throughout the college football world. And with the way their schedule played out in 2010, this BCS Buster legit had a good shot to make the national championship game. Probably the best chance any non-Group of 5 team has ever had, especially back then when there wasn't a college football playoff. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's jump right in and start with the key figures of this squad. Coming in as the old ball coach was Chris Peterson, one of my low-key favorite college football coaches of all time. Dude was a straight-up winner at every program he went to. And leading his team at the most important position in sports was the current offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, the college football legend Kellen Moore, who would pass for over 3,800 yards with 35 touchdowns. At the running back position, the Broncos had a two-headed monster, but the leader of the backfield had to be Doug Martin, who would rush for over 1,200 yards with 12 touchdowns. And finally, leading the team in receiving with 1,215 yards and 9 touchdowns was Titus Young. Oh yeah, with that out of the way, let's hop right into the season. And also, normally when I make these videos, the first couple games of the season are cupcakes or warm-up. But since I guess this year specifically, Boise State really wanted to show the BCS they could hang with the big dogs because they would have a top 10 matchup versus Virginia Tech and a top 25 matchup versus Oregon State to open up the season. Would these tough early non-conference matchups be enough to take down the 3rd-ranked Boise State Broncos?
Virginia Tech, if you graded them out, this is from behind Brian Saunders. Blocked. So Boise State blocks the first punt. Advantage. Play action. Jay Harper. He's the running back. Fires for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown. Oh, bangs in that time. Taylor. Wide open. From the 1. Williams for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Harper, he does. Breaks free in a foot race. Midfield, trying to break free. DJ Harper off the injury list. Taylor will throw for it. Got it. And a touchdown. Play action. End zone. Got him. Pettis. Touchdown. Hit as he delivers. And incomplete. Of their ace receivers. And Kellen's going to flip it to him. And he's going to throw on the end around. Touchdown. And there is the... Kyle Brontzman. Try to corral him at number 8. Going to bring it across the field. Looking for a lane. Got one. Needs a block. Cuts inside. Needs one more. Headed for the end zone. What a return. Touchdown. 53 yards. For 168 yards. And he's looking for more. Touchdown. So there's some really good football players in the FCS. Play action now by Kellen Moore. Moore going downfield. Oh, wide open. He'll back in. Here's your power look. Quiz shakes free. Touchdown. They had. Kellen fires middle. Touchdown. Catch. Good athlete. Runs away from the pressure. Fires back to the middle. Got it. Stumbling. Fumbling. Touchdown Oregon State. There's nothing like blue heaven for Boise State.
Boise State would win both of these games against top 25 opponents, 33-10 against 10th ranked Virginia Tech and 37-24 against the 24th ranked Oregon State Beavers. And oh yeah, there was a weak game sandwiched in between these two matchups against Wyoming that Boise State would easily win 51-6. But something that I have to point out is these two early wins against Virginia Tech and Oregon State were such very impressive wins. And it was safe to say that these big wins would have Boise State controlling their own destiny if they wanted to actually make a national title push. Now sitting at 3-0 and still ranked as the 3rd best team in the country, which if I'm being honest, if you're a group of 5 team, it is so hard for your team to move up in the polls. Once you start to reach the top 10, it's just a blessing to not drop and just stay put where you are. So with Boise State not moving, they would start conference play, and just in case you forgot what conference they were in, it was the WAC, which back in the day was one of the best non-Power 5 conferences, right alongside the Mountain West. Boise State would win games against New Mexico 59-0, Toledo 57-14, San Jose State 48-0, and finally a 49-20 win against Louisiana Tech. A straight up dominant stretch of football that had the Broncos sitting at 7-0, ranked 4th in the country. And you may be saying, how did they keep winning but not moving up much? Well, if I had to guess, it might have been the extreme bias the BCS had towards the non-Power 5 schools, because I don't know what more the Broncos could have done besides join the Pac-12. They had pulled off 2 top 25 wins, was on like a 20+ game winning streak, and was dominating almost every team they played. It was clear at this point in the season that if the Broncos wanted to make history, they would have to keep winning in a dominant fashion. Could they keep it up against their next 3 conference opponents, Hawaii, Idaho, and Fresno State?
Receiver on the roster, and a double handoff. Avery ends up with it. He gets a good block and goes into the hitting 15 of 16 so far this afternoon. Moore into the end zone, touchdown. Now joined by Martin back there, who's kept in the block. Moore over the middle, wide open. Austin Pettis breaks the tackle and goes in. Terrific foundation, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Avery right to the end zone.
That's a good move that drives him back to the 24. Potter now. Still on his feet. Look at this. Through midfield, and here he goes. Chris Potter. And now play action. Kellen sold it beautifully. Now being chased. Airs it out. And the back of the end zone. What a catch. Moore to the end zone. Touchdown. Pressure. Quick release. Did he hold on? Touchdown! Wow, what a catch by Titus Young!
Boise State would dominate every team they faced during that little 3-game stretch, winning against Hawaii 42-7, Idaho 52-14, and finally Fresno State 51-0. 10-0 and still ranked 4th in the country, the last real test for the Broncos during their regular season was coming up against 19th ranked Nevada, led by one of the most infamous quarterbacks in NFL history, Colin Kaepernick. Besides Virginia Tech and Oregon State, which Boise State played way back at the start of the season, they hadn't really faced much competition, as besides those mentioned matchups, every game Boise State had played this season they had won by at least 4 possessions, which is absolutely insane. So would the Wolfpack of Nevada even really give the Boise State Broncos any type of challenge? Let's find out.
Second and goal. Here's Martin. Gets free and into the end zone. Going for Titus Young. Touchdown, Boise. Kaepernick to pass. Going downfield, looking for Matthews, and he comes up with it. Going to the outside. Kaepernick. And here goes Matthews. Touchdown. Yards downfield at the end of some of these plays. Martin now to the near side. Blockers in front. Doug Martin. Here he goes. Watch out. Doug Martin scoring. Pressure off the edge. Can he escape it? He does. Gonna run for it. First down inside the 10. Kaepernick. Touchdown, Nevada. Matthews. And Rashard Matthews spinning free. Here he goes. This from 23. Set it up to Martin. Doug Martin. Look at Doug Martin go. Puts on a move, and Martin still on his feet. Doug Martin, could he? Yes! Second and 10. Here's Ball setting up the screen. Mike Ball. Ball is free, and Mike Ball has touchdown, Nevada! Moore steps up, airs it out, looking for Titus Young. Did he catch it? Diving catch with 1 second to go! This is turning into a disaster for Grotzman. Instead, it is Martinez with the win. Nevada has done it.
Man, this game was a sad one for the fans of college football who wanted to see a group of 5 school make the national championship, as Boise State would be upset in overtime and lose 34-31 to the Nevada Wolfpack, putting an end to any chance of the Broncos out of shocking the college football world by making the national championship game. It was a tough loss, but if I'm being honest, the Broncos fumbled this game. They were up by a couple scores after halftime, they had multiple chances to put Nevada away, and worst of all, they missed 2 field goals less than 30 yards away. I feel bad, but there isn't really any excuse for this loss. But props to Nevada though, I guess. Boise State would bounce back the following week and blow Utah State out of the water 50-14 and finish the season 11-1. Ranked in the top 10. But man, I'm like 75% sure that if the Broncos would have won that game versus Nevada, they would have had a spot of the national championship game. Even though I know the Broncos this year were thinking national championship or bust, they would have to settle for a 26-3 win against Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. All in all, it was still a decent year, as to me, this has to be one of the few times a group of 5 school was actually close to making it to the big game. I can't remember any other team since the year 2000 that has came closer. And when I say close, I mean not finishing the season undefeated, but being ranked in the top 5 with like 3 weeks of ball left to be played. But let's move on from this entry to the last group of 5 team in this video. area. Okay, so let's leave Idaho and head east to the state shaped like a mitten. Shout out to Baby Tron. To take a look at a team I'm going to be honest, I wasn't as hip to it as a lot of you are in the comments, but thank you guys for putting me on this 2016 Western Michigan team because I was kind of shocked how fun this team highlights were. Well, the ones that I could find. Anyway, let's take a look at this Western Michigan squad. Coming into the year, I don't think it was a stretch to say that this 2016 squad was expected to do big things, at least in the MAC, because even though the previous 2 years the team had finished 8-5 and failed to make it to the MAC championship game, this year the preseason polls had Western Michigan favored to win the MAC, so the pressure was on. Could the squad handle it? Let's find out. But first we have to take a look at the man leading the team and some of the key players. Leading the program was the bald man himself, PJ Fleck, but I don't even think he was bald at this time. And most of you should know he is currently coaching the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Coming in at quarterback was Zach Terrell, who would put up an Aaron Rodgers type year, passing for over 3,500 yards with 33 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. In the backfield we had a pair of studs. Jamari Bogan, who would rush for 900 yards with 8 touchdowns, but leading the team in rushing was Javarion Franklin, who would finish the year with over 1,300 rushing yards with 12 touchdowns. This team even had an NFL top 5 pick playing wide receiver, that being Corey Davis, who would put up a monster 1,500 yards with 19 touchdowns. Just a straight up bonkers stat line, no matter what level of college ball you were playing. Okay, so that was some of the studs on this squad. Let's jump right into the 2016 football season. To start off the year, Western Michigan had 2 games versus Big Ten opponents, them being Northwestern and the Fighting Illini. And sandwiched in between those 2 Big Ten matchups, a game against Hogwarts Community College. Just kidding. It was North Carolina Central. Anyway, I normally don't jump straight into the highlights of a team when it's like the first 3 games of the season, but to be fair to Western Michigan, these were the toughest games of the season besides the last 2 games of the year. So that's why we're jumping straight into the highlights. Could Western Michigan go 2-0 against the Big Ten?
And he'll get it again. Dives in, touchdown, Wildcats. It's Bogan. Hit. Second effort. Down a point, 3 minutes to play. Thorson on a designed run. And ball comes out. Indisputable video evidence was not found.
In Western Michigan, rowing the boat. Jamari Bogan rowing the boat. 180 yards and 2 scores. Time to play America's favorite game. Could I be more wide open? Ainsley Johnson, you win. The flea flicker, and look at Johnson go 56 yards. Illinois was in a lot of trouble after that. Javarion Franklin.
The Broncos would go 2-0 versus Big Ten teams and 3-0 overall during that little stretch of play, winning a close one versus Northwestern 22-21 in a game that had an absolutely wild finish. And this is off topic, but what is up with PJ Fleck coaching in some of the wackiest games I've ever seen? Let me know down below in the comments if I'm wanting something or if I'm just chatting. Back to Western Michigan. They would beat the brakes off of North Carolina Central 70-21, and finally to end the stretch, an impressive win over Illinois 34-10. 3-0, the Broncos, which I just realized we're doing back-to-back teams that are named the Broncos. Anyway, they were starting to make noise, but they would need to keep up the dominant play a couple more weeks if they wanted to crack the top 25 and actually make a push for a New Year's 6 bowl game. MAC play was starting soon, and the Broncos were looking at a 5-game stretch against some decent competition. It was extremely important for Western Michigan to not take any opponent lightly because a single loss would crush any chance the Broncos had of making it to a New Year's 6 bowl. Fortunately, PJ Fleck had built up a good culture at Western Michigan, and everyone on the team knew what they had to do and what their roles were, as during that 5-game stretch of play, Broncos would win versus Georgia Southern 49-31, Central Michigan 49-10, Northern Illinois 45-30, Akron 41-0, and finally to end the stretch a win against rival Eastern Michigan 45-31. 8-0, ranked 23rd in the country, the highest they had been in program history. That record may be beaten later on in the video, no spoilers. The Broncos had the mitten going crazy. They had 4 regular season games left on the schedule, all versus MAC opponents, them being Ball State, Kent State, Buffalo, and Toledo. Also, I just want to put this out there. The MAC isn't the toughest conference, but it's for sure a conference that you can't take a single week off in. There's a reason we call weekday games in the MAC MACtion, because no matter the teams playing, you just know some crazy shit is bound to happen. I say all this to say these last 4 games Western Michigan would play in, they would have to lock in if they wanted to make program history. Could they survive the stretch of MACtion?
Jarvion Franklin.
Franklin again. Franklin, forget it. He's in. Touchdown, Broncos. Jarvion Franklin is back in at tailback. Number 31 for WMU. Fake to him. Terrell going to take it. Oh, his receiver's wide open. Corey Davis. He'll make the catch. This is an easy 6 for Western Michigan. Or 2 for next year.
They've had the top-rated recruiting class in the MAC since P.J. Fleck got there.
Terrell going for Davis, who flashed open. Did he hang on to that? Is that a catch? It is. Oh, man. For your mental approach as the Broncos go on the ground. Franklin trying to get into the end zone. Did he do it?
Been at the controls for so long. The pitch out to the right side, and Jarvion Franklin is going to find a little bit of space. 7 yards, but he fumbles the football. And Kent State has picked it up, and they're going to take it into the house. Najee Murray with the score.
You never would have picked Buster Douglas.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Rankin in motion. Holly's going to keep it himself and score.
There it is.
They come up with another stop inside their own 2. Terrell's going to keep it, and he's going to get in right behind that big. Impressive as Holly on second down now is going to hand off to his running back, Justin Rankin. Rankin gets free on the right sideline. He's going to go in to score. Franklin, huge hole on the right side, cuts it back left side, and he will score.
2nd and 7. Davis on the slant and going to go to work. Oh, he dropped some sauce on him. From the 20, Terrell. Caught. Touchdown, Franklin. Tucker in the backfield. Terrell on the fade. Caught. Davis, touchdown.
Thompson is the motion man. He's been their most lethal target. This is Hunt looking to backtrack and changing directions and finding room down the left sideline. Inside the 5, burrowing his way towards the pylon, and he's in. Touchdown to lead. That's where Terrell's looking. That's where he's throwing. Back shoulder. Touchdown.
Western Michigan would absolutely ball out during this stretch of action play, winning against Ball State 52-20, Kent State 37-21, Buffalo 38-0, and finally a win against Toledo 55-35. Once again, an absolutely dominant stretch of play from the Broncos. Now sitting at 12-0 and ranked 17th in the entire country, and by the way, this was easily the best regular season in Western Michigan program history. You might have noticed I said regular season. Well, that's because Western Michigan still had a couple more games left, more specifically a big win in the MAC championship game against the Ohio Bobcats. Majority of their games, the Broncos were leading the whole entire time. They hadn't really played many close games. Would they be able to respond if a team were to punch them in the gut early on in a game?
Season, Frank Solich says he has no fear in using Wyndham. And he'll go through the air down the middle, taking a shot, and it's caught by Poppy White. And there goes the speed. 1st and goal, Ohio. Wyndham looks back to the near side of the field, and off play action, Terrell over the middle, a well-timed pass on the slant to Corey Davis. There goes the future first-round pick for a score.
Passes here.
Terrell stepping up to the sideline, to the end zone.
Down if you're Ohio.
Wyndham to the end zone, and it is caught. It is a touchdown. Play action fake. Poppy White looking for separation. Poppy White into the end zone. 3rd down. Wyndham. Pressure coming. Trying to step away. Launches for White, and it's incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down. Good snap. Good hold. And Butch Hampton with their crowd. Most of them Bronco fans. Wyndham over the middle and intercepted, and that will do it. Robert Spillane is going to send Western Michigan to 13-0 and a MAC championship.
The Broncos would pull off a gutsy victory against the Ohio Bobcats 29-23 in the MAC championship game, bringing their record to 13-0 and their ranking to the 15th spot in the final regular season AP polls. Now, while Western Michigan was nowhere close to the college football playoffs, they found themselves in the next best position any Group of 5 school could find themselves in, a New Year's Six bowl game, more specifically the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, as the Broncos were set to face off against the 8th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers. This was Western Michigan's national championship. Could the little guy slay the big dogs over at Wisconsin?
Power and strength of the Badgers.
Trell Jamerson back deep to receive the opening kick. Clement. And Ogunbowale. That's a Wisconsin touchdown. Play action. Terrell on a bootleg. One-on-one. Makes a cutback. He's into the end. This one from 27. And he stays red hot. Terrell straight back to throw from the end zone. Up the seam. And it's picked off. Hornibrook. Off his back foot. Fumagalli. Guess what? Touchdown. Terrell looks the other way instead. Extends the play. Now on his horse. Hoisted into the end zone. Is it caught? Touchdown! Corey Davis! Play action. Bart Houston looks up the seam. Unbelievable. Troy Fumagalli adds to a career sideline as Bart Houston starts the clock rolling down on inside of 40 seconds to officially end the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. But PJ Fleck wants his team to know that they have nothing to be ashamed of.